Hey guys, Patricia Zars here, your Texas pool concierge. Today on Pool Talk with Trish, I wanted to answer one of the most frequently asked questions I get when people start asking me about swimming pools. What's that question? How much pool will fit in my yard? So while the answer to that question is different for everyone, how we get to that answer is the same. So let's dive in. Okay, so when I first start talking to somebody about the possibility of putting a swimming pool in their backyard, one of the most frequently asked questions I get is, how big of a pool can I put in my yard? Or when I ask them if they already know what shape and what size they're interested in, they usually respond with, it all depends on what will fit. So one of the very first things I do is ask if they've got a copy of their survey. And on the survey, it's gonna show you your lot with all of its dimensions, the way the house sits on the lot, how much space it takes up, and then it's going to show you all of the dimensions you have for your yard. And included in that are some pretty specific things that are crucial to where we can put a pool and how much space you've got to use for the pool. So of course, one of the very first things we look at on the survey is the length and width you've got for your backyard. And when we do that, we've got to take into consideration if there's any easements or building setbacks or other restrictions on the lot. Typically in most communities, we're gonna have the restriction of 5 feet on each side of the property. So 5 feet in from the fence is where the pool edges could start. And same thing in the back. So typically 5 feet on each side, 5 feet from the back, and then also 5 feet from your foundation. One thing with the foundation, if you've got some kind of patio in the backyard, if it's poured monolithically with your slab, meaning it's part of the actual foundation of the home, we've still got to stay 5 feet away from that. If it's something that was added on, if it's just a concrete slab that was added after the foundation was poured, then we do have a little more flexibility to get closer to that slab. So even though we typically have to stay 5 feet from the fence lines, from the property lines, we may have to be farther from that if you've got any easements, like utility easements. And these can often be more than 5 feet. So sometimes we see 10 or 12 feet for an easement. We cannot build the pool into an easement. We can build right up to it, and your concrete can actually go over the easement, but the pool lip and the pool edge would only be allowed to go right up to where that easement starts. Now, if you have building setbacks, because the pool is built in ground and it's not above ground, we can actually build into a building setback. So those aren't quite as restrictive on us as far as where you can put your pool. So once we've got that survey in hand, we're able to take a look at all your setbacks, all your property lines, all the dimensions, and then decide what size pool or pool and spa combo fits best in the yard. You may have multiple options as far as different sizes that you can put in there, and then it really does just come out to how much yard you want to have in addition to your pool. Or if you have plans to have an enlarged patio, or maybe an outdoor kitchen space or a fire pit or something like that around your pool. So that needs to be taken into consideration as well. Now, a few other things that the survey gives us some insight to right up front is how much access you have on each side of your home for the excavation equipment and crews and everything to get in and out of the yard. And it shows us if maybe you have space behind your yard that can be utilized for access as well. Also on the survey, we'll see locations of things like your AC pad, which can sometimes get in the way of access as well, so knowing where it is important. And it also shows us where your main electrical panel box is. And that doesn't affect how much pool you can put in your yard, but it's a good thing for us to know so that we know how much electric's going to be needed to be run from that panel to your equipment. So having that survey up front is very, very helpful. It gives us a really good idea on how to narrow down the different shapes and sizes, and allows us, honestly, the way we're set up with our pricing, to bid out what your pool project is going to cost technically before we even come out to your yard. Now obviously there are several things we need to see in your actual yard to determine actual placement and things like that, and if there's a slope, maybe if there's trees in the yard, things like that. But having a better idea before we come out to look at it really makes the process a lot more simple. So the next question I get is, well, where do I find my survey? So when you purchase your home, your survey is something that would have been given to you at the time you closed on the property. So it should be with all of the other closing documents you got from the title company. If for some reason you can't find it, it is possible too that you could reach out to the title company that you closed with, and they still may be able to provide you with a copy of it. Now, if you search everywhere and you just simply can't find your survey, you can order a new one. They do run a few $100s. but it is going to be something that's necessary for your pool project. So I hope this gives you a little insight as to how we initially determine what pool size fits best in your yard. And if you have any questions at all, or if you want to find out what pool fits best in your yard, just reach out, 210-834-7054. Make sure you stay tuned for future Pool Talk with Trish videos. I look forward to seeing you guys soon, and I look forward to helping you get swimming.